What's up, everyone? Welcome to the business law lecture, all about the basics of law. In this unit right here, I'm going to show you where to go to find the sources of law. So we're going to talk about what is a law, where do laws come from, right? So the first one, ethics versus laws. Then we are going to talk about the law enforcements that we have here in America, and then what happens when you actually break the law in our law system. Okay, so big 3 points out of here, but let's go ahead and get started. Jump into the PowerPoint.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this lecture all about the basics of laws. In this unit, we have a couple of objective standards that we need to achieve. First is we really need to know the difference between ethics and the law. That will be huge. We'll really talk about this in the first part of the lecture. The next one is applying knowledge of terminology related to areas of law, the court system, and the legal office. So let's go ahead and get started. What are ethics? What words start populating in your mind right now? I want you to even maybe think of some actions, okay, to demonstrate what is ethics. So go ahead and pause this video so you can really think about those terms. All right, hopefully you thought of some basic, very basic actions and the difference between right versus wrong. We don't need to be a part of any country that has any laws. We don't need to be a part of any religions. Okay, this is just the human nature of right versus wrong. We know, very simple. If you ask us a question as a human being, we know if this is right or wrong. Now let's go to part two of that. And what are some basic ethics that we need for our society to function? So again, go ahead and pause this video. Think about it. Okay, hopefully these were some things that you thought of that we need from each other so that we can function as a society. We need people to be honest, right? We need honesty. We need to, whatever comes out of their mouth, we need to be able to believe them. And we want to believe that once we leave the house, people are not trying to steal from us. Hey, they're not trying to murder us. And overall, it's a golden rule, right? So treat others how you want to be treated. Now, the next question we're going to ask is what is unethical? Now, it is very simply that you can think of all the things that we just talked about in the opposite, which is true. But when we look at it, right, murder, stealing, cheating, and lying. Okay, so what did they do that was not ethically correct? So again, no matter what the circumstances, we know the difference between right versus wrong. So this leads us into our standard that we're talking about. Why do we have laws, right? So we looked at ethics, but why do we have laws? Well, the reason we have laws is because people disagree. We know this. Hey, put people around each other enough, they will disagree. Whether it's their views on how to live life, or maybe religions. Hey, and then next is bad people on earth. There are just people that, like I said, are mad at society maybe, and are gonna take because they feel like they deserve it, or wasn't given it, or the need to survive. Right now, I'm saying that those people are bad, but again, it's just one of these things that we don't know. We don't know why people are doing maybe unethical things. We're just trying to look on the outside. But again, it's one of those things where we need to have laws so we can keep people in the framework, right? We're creating boundaries. And as a society, we know that if you break these laws, if you do these unethical things, that we have a law in place that where you will get punished. So that is for our safety. Now, I'm going to go through a series of questions I think are very important and that really hammer home ethically kind of versus the laws. So first one, is it okay to steal? Think about that. Have you ever stolen? Okay, and why did you steal? Did you truly have that intuition in your body, right, of thinking like this is wrong, but maybe you justified why you were doing it? Okay, so think about that. Is it okay to steal? Is it okay to cheat? Next one, is it okay to lie? And then, is it okay to kill? Okay, now what I want you to do, I want you to think of that for yourself ethically. You know, what are your answers? And then just think of any situations where it is okay. We will be discussing this in class which will be fun because I feel like everyone has levels of this, that we have built that into our mindset of what is the level that I will not cross of maybe, cheating, lying, or stealing. But that is part one for this lecture, so we can really make sure that we fill in those lecture notes. Okay, welcome to part two of Basics of Law lecture. Now, in this part of the lecture, we're really going to look at the source of law. So remember, in this whole entire unit, we're really looking at the difference between ethics and law. So now we can say, where is the law, right? Where can we go find the law? And that's what we're going to do in this part, is really exploring where we can go find the source of law. As always, apply knowledge of terminology related in the areas of the court system, legal office, and law. All right, first question I have: what are the basic laws in the United States? Think about that. What are your basic rights? Now, hopefully, you said something of the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, more importantly. Now, I'm not going to have you guys research these. I'm going to quickly go over them because the first one we've heard many times throughout our educational career, okay, but very, very big, right? So these are our fundamental rights as Americans, right, in the Constitution. Now, for part two, I want to say, is the federal, right, U.S. Constitution the only Constitution we have in Idaho? Hopefully you said no to that, because we actually do have an Idaho Constitution. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to pause that, and I want you to open up another tab and type in the Idaho Constitution in the Google search. And as always, I want it to be a .gov. And there's actually going to be some multiple places for .gov websites that you can go to get the Idaho Constitution. Either one is good. It doesn't really matter. So go ahead and do that right now. Okay, welcome back, and hopefully you have this going, and then you have a tab open talking with the Idaho Constitution. Now the big thing is, I want you to think is, how is it categorized? This is going to be very, very big for so many different reasons in this unit. One, for your project, okay, and then two, for your assessment. Okay, so I want you to look at the Idaho Constitution, how they categorize, right? How do they maybe organize, right, the way they label these amendments? Hopefully you saw it. Okay? Articles, Roman numerals, sections is numbers. So when we look at this bottom one down here, Article 4, Section 3, we're talking about the qualifications of officers. Okay, that's going to be very, very big, that you know what an amendment looks like and what a law looks like. Now let's go to that law part. Now I want you to do is go ahead and explore Idaho laws. Remember, we're looking for .gov, and I will give you a hint right here. Hey, this is the screen that we are looking for, Idaho legislator. Now you will see up top we have Idaho laws and rules, but then we have, clicking down, we have Idaho Constitution, right? Administrative rules, Senate rules, House rules, joint rules, okay, session laws, but we don't have anywhere that says Idaho laws. Do you see where the arrow is pointing? That's where we want to go, is Idaho statutes. So now you know the official name of the law is statutes. Okay, so that's very, very big. Now I want you to also think of how they are categorized. When you clicked on them, you will see that they are title, chapter, and section. So they are different, okay, than the amendment. So when we look right here, Article 5, Section 2 versus Title 18, Chapter 8, Section 1. This is going to be a test question. We're going to say, what is Article 5? Is it an amendment or is it a law? Very simple right there. Or what it'll look like is, I'll say, go to Chapter 18, Chapter 8, Section 1. Now, when we're looking at this, this is what you need to be able to do, right? Tell me that Article 5, Section 2 is judicial department power, and then Title 18, Chapter 8, Section 1 is the arson definition. So that's what we're looking for, and that's going to be big, like I said, for your assessment, but also for the project, is how are you going to categorize your laws that you think are most important. All right, now let's get into the next part of source of law, because that's just not it. We know that's not it. Okay, what are the levels of law enforcement in Idaho? Hopefully, you said federal, state, county, and city. Okay, and when we're looking at that, federal is U.S., state, Idaho, county, we're in Ada County, and then city is Boise. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of their laws, right? Statutes, codes, as you might call it, as well, that you will see, okay, again, to see how they're categorized for you to find the source of law. That's a big thing. Remember, that's our objective, the source of law. So we've talked about federal, we've talked about state. Okay, now let's go to county. Okay, so we're going to explore Ada County Code. And what I want you to do is I want you to search that, because that's going to be very, very big. You're going to need to know how to do that. And again, to give you a little hint, this is what we're looking for. Okay, this is what the screen that we're looking for. So you can just type in Ada County Code, and you can see business, public health, motor vehicles, building regulations, right? Zoning. Hey, very, very big. So go ahead, pause this video, go ahead and look at this website. The next thing we're going to do is explore, okay, the Boise City Code. And again, very similar to Ada, but it does adjust, right? So Boise has their own city code, as you can see. Traffic, public property, departments, building regulations, right? Police regulations. So you will see that. Now, if you know Ada County, we have two cities involved in it, right? We do have Boise and we have Meridian. These are different. Okay? And that kind of leads us to the next one. Are there different laws in different places? Counties, cities, states. Well, we should know this. Definitely the bigger one, right? States and cities. There are different laws. And just to take a look at some of them, right? Minimum wage, gun laws, death penalty, taxes, sales and properties, and driver's license. So really quick just to talk about it. In Idaho, you can start driving, right, age of 15. In California, that wasn't. We could get our permit. We had 3 drives. And then when you turn 16, you could actually get your license. And then when you turn 16, you couldn't drive with anyone unless they were a family member for the first 6 months. And you could not drive at night with anyone. And then after 6 months, you could drive with other friends, but you could not drive at night with other people. And if they caught you and you got a ticket, you lost your license until 18. Okay, but this image that we have right here on the right is just talking about minimum wage rates. Okay, are they higher than the federal one? As the same. Okay, so as you can see, blue were as standard as the federal one, and you can see the green ones are a little bit higher. Okay, so we know that. So it's very important to know where you can go get the source of law in the city you are living in. All right, now this brings us to our project. Okay, in our project, what you're going to have to do is you are going to have to list your top 5 ethics, right, and why. Then you're going to create 10 laws. You got to create their definitions, and you got to create their punishment, and you have to categorize them. Okay, so that's very, very big when you're looking at it. So I've given you so many different resources. You can use what laws are out there in Idaho, but you cannot just copy them. I do know the difference, so make them your own terminology so we can get rolling with that. And again, this is their first project of the unit. We will also do an activity versus laws versus ethics, but that is part 2 of our assessment. So go ahead, fill in your lecture notes and get started on that project. All right, welcome to part 3, the basics of law lecture. Looking at our objectives and the standards, again, we're really focusing on describe the source of law. Okay, and as always, we got to use the correct terminology as it relates to laws, the court system, and the legal office. So again, laws, or as we found out in the last part, statutes, right? Looking at Idaho statutes. Now, this first part of this lecture, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the 4 main legal systems. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna make you research this. Okay, so I want you to research the civil law legal system, right? So what I'm looking for is what does that mean and who is using it? Okay, so again, give examples of what countries are using it. Next one is what is the common law legal system, you're going to need to know this. Hey, this is very, very key. We will do this in activity and we'll have this on the assessment. Next, what is the Muslim as it's most known or religious law system? Okay, the most popular one is the Muslim, so that's why I put that. I would search both, but truly, whatever is in the Muslim is in the religion. And then, what is the mixed law legal system? Okay, so those are the four big ones that I want you to research. Hey, and then here's this nice graphic right here that shows you, kind of like gives you an example so you can see the United States, right? North America, we're a common law system. Hey, and then when you look at South America, Central America, mostly civil law. And then we see some mixed in Africa, right? In Asia. And then we see the Muslim law as well, okay, in the Middle East. So again, that's gonna be very, very important for you to research, for you to know, okay, was our legal system based on? Continuing though, hey, let's talk about the levels of law. We've already discussed this in previous parts of this lecture. We know that we have federal, state, county, and city. So if we're going to look at this, federal would be FBI, CIA. State is a state trooper, so Idaho State Trooper, which we actually see right here in this picture. County is the sheriff, so Ada County, and then city is the police. So what I want you to do is now we're going to kind of look at law enforcement and know where to go for their website. So we look at federal. There's a bunch of federal law enforcement, right? FBI, CIA, NSA, NCIS. Okay, so go ahead and pick one. You don't have to pick these four. You can pick whatever you want, and we're going to explore their websites. Now, coming back, hopefully you found a great federal website because that's going to be key in our infograph section, which is your next project in this unit. Hey, but now we're going to search the Idaho Police website. So go ahead, pause it, open up a different tab if you haven't already, and I would suggest keeping these tabs open for all of them. So you should have this lecture going, you should have the federal website, and now let's look at Idaho State Police website. Next one, go ahead and open Ada County Sheriff website. Hey, that's going to be big. And again, what can you find on it? Hey, we're going to talk about this in class. Hey, looking at what can we find on it. So then next, let's go to the Boise Police website. Hey, that will be very, very big. So you should have all of these open, looking at the difference. Hey, because it's important to know what services they offer, and then what each of them provide. And now a nice fun website to go to is the Idaho Repository website. If you click this, and we're going to do this in class as well, but you're just going to see that your history in Idaho never goes away. It is always public. Okay, so you actually can search names and see if they've ever got in trouble with the law, including a traffic ticket. Okay, so go ahead and look at that. That's always a fun one. And again, we're going to do this in class as well. All right, now moving forward, talking about the sources of law. Are there any other law enforcement when you think about that? Like, who can give you tickets? We know there's police officers that can give you tickets. We know you can get arrested by federal agents. But what about anything else? Is there anything else, especially here in Idaho, that you can get a ticket for or get in trouble? Hopefully you said yes. And what these are called administrative agencies. Okay, so administrative agencies, here's some examples, right? So they're experts in a specific issues. You look at the DMV, right? The DMV, they can take away your license. Okay, Idaho Fish and Game, you can get in trouble with them, right? By not having a license to hunt or to fish. Over your limit, right? All of these things. So again, these are administrative agencies. And you can see the last one that we have is Administration on Aging. Now, where do they fit in the levels of law? Well, they kind of fit in everywhere. Okay, it really doesn't matter, not the low man on the totem pole, but again, they have jurisdiction. Fish and game through the whole entire state. There's even some administrative agencies at the federal level that you will see, and they're even some of them are law enforcement as well. Okay, so they just kind of like fit in. They're just in between everywhere. So really, to dive into this because you're going to have to do this for your infograph. You're going to have to pick an administrative agency. So the first one I want you to do is go ahead and explore the ones for Idaho. This is the website that you should be on, and if you were going to scroll, you would see that there is over 190 agencies found. Okay, so you can search or you can just go by their category. So go ahead and do that. Then come back because we will explore the federal administrative agencies, and this is the website, and you can see that 445 agencies found. So guys, you have a lot of choices that you can pick from. Okay, and that's going to lead us to our second project talking about infograph. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create two infographics, one on any law enforcement in Idaho, so Boise, Ada County Sheriff, Idaho State Trooper, or a federal one, and then you're going to have to create an administrative agency infograph. Again, I don't care if it's just on Idaho or it is a federal. That is completely up to you. We will talk more about these in class, but go ahead and explore those websites and start getting a little base of what you want to do for our infograph. All right, welcome to part 4, the last part of our Basics of Law lecture. Now, in this part of the lecture, we're really going to describe the structure of the court system. Okay, so really looking at what happens after you break the law. Which leads, when the law is broken, what happens? Think about what happens. When someone breaks the law, what is the full entire process? You'll see that you get arrested, right? You are searched, you are handcuffed, right? You are read your Miranda rights, which is, the classic saying that we see in every movie and TV show. You have the right to remain silent and doing all of that. So now, really to give you this in great context, okay, I want you to watch this video. Okay, and there's some couple things. So again, I really want you to focus on what happens when you are first arrested, and you don't have to be arrested, okay? When the cops come up and they think that you are involved in the law being broken, what happens, okay? Where do you get taken into, or what happens to your rights, and then full out, what are the Miranda rights and all of that? All right, hopefully you got a great perspective from that video. I really like that video. It makes it nice and short. Hey, but now we're going to talk about the getting arrested process. So some of you have seen this on movies, right, on TV shows. If you haven't, it is okay. Hey, because I have another great video for you guys to watch, very short, talking about getting arrested. This was a local television show that what a great video talking about the arrest process. Now, after you're arrested, we're going to watch this next video, which talks about what happens once the handcuffs are on you and you get thrown into the cop car. This was done by a local news station, not here in Boise, but I still think it's a great video for you to see and not very long. So go ahead and watch this video so you can get that full experience. All right, now they references something in the video, and maybe you already knew this, but how can you leave jail? Think about that. How can you leave jail? And I'm not talking about all charges dropped. Something happens. Hopefully you guys said a bail bonds, which is true. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and research bail bonds here in the Treasure Valley. You will notice that there are some very close to Bora because the jail is very close to Bora. So go ahead, pull that up, okay, and research that. My big thing that I want you to know is how much you have to pay, right? So when they say a bond is set out for $5,000, $10,000, how much you actually have to pay of that? I'm going to give you a little secret right now. It's not the amount that they tell you to. Okay, so go ahead and research that. Now, no matter what happens, if you post bail, okay, or you stay in jail, something is going to happen, okay? And that is you're going to have to go to court. right? You are going to have to go to court. So now this is really looking at our court system, okay? And we look first one right here, the types of courts, kind of in order that we're looking: juvenile, county, district, small claims, probate, court of appeals, Idaho Supreme Court, and federal Supreme Court. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through these. You definitely going to research. We're going to research these in more detail. This is actually a participation grade that you have to do, is finding an article related to this. But when we look quick, juvenile court, very, very simple. This is if you are 17 or younger. Notice how I did not say 18, okay? It is 17 or younger or under 18 years old, okay? But it's not 18. Next, we have county district court. So that's anything that happens, you are going to go to that. Again, it could be a district, it could be a county. Ours is downtown. When you look at it, the nice, beautiful court, right? So you do anything in Ada County, that's where you are going to go. Small claims, okay? Small claims court, that's a big one right now. When you talk about small claims, this is a civil, and we're going to talk about this in our civil unit, but this is for anything less than $5,000, right? You are suing someone else, okay? You're going after someone else, they owe you money, okay? That's what small claims is all about. Probate, okay? Again, we'll talk about this at the end of the semester, but probate is talking about wills, right? We're talking about land here, right? Someone dies and we need to fulfill their will. If we have any issues, maybe there's not a will, or maybe we are going to try to rebut this will, this is where it goes to probate. Court of Appeals, as you can see, and as it says, like Court of Appeals, you don't like your system, you have to appeal the process. Okay, this is the court that you are going to go to and prove that you deserve another court hearing. Idaho Supreme Court, okay, these are all of the big issues that we're talking about in Idaho. Okay, where you can appeal maybe your county district court case, and now it's going to go to Idaho Supreme Court, okay? And in the severity, you can go to Idaho Supreme Court as well. So again, it really, really depends on what the crime was, okay, and what is happening. Now you will see that federal Supreme Court, okay, and pretty much what the difference, think about when we talked about the source of law, okay? These are talking about our Idaho laws, right? So our Idaho statutes. If we break one of those, this is where it goes. Think back to our federal laws, our federal rights. What were those? Public to or free speech to or free speech or religion, right? So if we feel like our Bill of Rights, our fundamental rights are getting challenged or we're not getting those, then this is where it goes, okay? Federal Supreme Court. Now let's go ahead and take a look right at some things I think are very, very interesting, some graphics. Juvenile age jurisdiction transferred to court law, so you can see 17, we stated that, but you can see some here. Texas is 16, Missouri is 16. Now you will notice we have a nice little dot. If you go at the end, once an adult, we're always tried as an adult. Okay, so again, when you look at that, if you break the law at 16 and you get tried as an adult, even if you do something at 17, okay, you're still tried as adult, even if it's not even a category of adult. But again, you're always tried. Once you've broken that, they've determined that you know the difference between right versus wrong, okay, they're going to try you as an adult, then you're always an adult, no matter what age it is. Now, some big things, district for Boise and Idaho. So when you look right here, hey, we are in District 4. Okay, you will see right there that we have Ada County right there. So we're District 4, so the District 4 court. And then when you look at on a federal level, okay, we are District 9. A very, very big that we fit in this range. So that's going to be important, right? So again, District 4 and District 9. Now, one of the things I think is so big for you guys, especially because all of you are juvenile, most of you are juvenile. If you're senior and you're 18, I apologize. Okay, but these are some statistics and ages. These are great articles. We will go over it in class. This does get brought up in your assessment, so it's very big that you go click on these and see what they're asking. As I stated before, you guys are going to have to do a class discussion, right? So this is for your participation grade. You're going to have to post a link of an article from a type of court. You will see that there is a bunch of areas where you can post. So find an article talking about juvenile court. Find an article talking about the Idaho Supreme Court. Okay, so very, very big. It can be from any time. Period. And like I said, I really want Idaho court cases, except for federal. Okay, we're not expecting federal. And then a project. Okay, you are going to have to make a video. Either you can do this in a group as an individual, okay, but an actual video, or we can do one in Google Slides, which I'll show you how to do. But you're gonna have to make a proper arrest, okay, and a proper jail. So meaning you're gonna have to send them to the proper jail court system that they're looking for. But that is it for the unit of basic laws lecture.